You probably didn't expect this review from me, but yeah, I finished and I've watched the entirety of Future Diary. So I needed something to watch, right? All my anime, I'm caught up on them all this year, so all my anime are just, the weekly when they come out. And I needed some anime to watch, so I just go through my list. I'm like, okay, what anime? I got tons of anime I ain't seen before. So I'm like, okay, what do I want to go through? And you know what? I saw Future Diary, and I'm like, I'm going to do it now. I'm finally going to go sit down and just finally commit to watching Future Diary. I had watched, I want to say the first four or 3 episodes of Future Diary. And then I don't know, I think life just got in the way and I just kind of pushed it to the side and forgot to go back to it. But I always wanted to, and I did. I sat down and I watched Future Diary. So there we go. I can title this video something like I watched Future Diary in 2025, which I did. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure you all know about Future Diary, right? At this point, everyone kind of knows about Future Diary. But basically, the premise is that Deus Ex Machina, what a goddamn name, who's the god of space and time, he's dying, man. He's dying, and he needs to figure out his successor. So in order to do that, a game is made, a death game, where 12 people are given, their phones are transformed into future diaries capable of predicting the future up to a certain amount of time. And the aim of the game is eliminate the other diary holders, and the winner is Deus Ex, his successor, and will prevent the apocalypse coming to Earth. So there we go. Basic, nice premise. Okay, it's a death game anime. Cool. Well, you'd think that, but then we have to, of course, meet the people. So, of course, our main character is Yuki Amano. He is just a 14-year-old little dweeb, right? He's not much. He actually gets quite annoying, Amano, I gotta say, Yuki, for his sissiness and, backing down and not doing assertive things. Gets kind of on your nerves a bit, because you're like, why are you such a wuss? But the main crux comes with a certain someone. So we're about to go through. You know what? Let's do it. We're gonna go through the entirety of the contestants in this death game. So of course Yuki is number 1, right? He is first. That's how they're designated. They're designated first, second, third. That's how they refer to each other. So Yuki is first, right? All this man really wants, to be honest with you, is, at first Yuki doesn't really want to participate. He kind of just wants to be like, this is crazy. But as certain events happen in this, Yuki then decides, I'm gonna win this. And I gotta say, Yuki got a lot better when his character was more, I'm gonna win this game. When he was more determined to win the game, that's when Yuki got hell of a lot better. Seriously. Now, Yuki is a character, of course, where he starts off pretty bland and annoying in the beginning, but then as the series goes, more character is given to him, more life is brought into his character. So, that's good. But he does, at the beginning, does kind of piss me off with how weak he is. But by the end of it, I'm like, okay, Yuki, I think you are a fine character. Right? So that is first, Yuki. And Yuki also, his big thing is that after this is all is over, when he becomes God, he'll just put everything back. Right? He'll just put everything back. That's what he believes that he's going to do. Then we have, of course, Yuno, who is second. You all know who Yuno is. Do I need to say it? Okay, if you don't know who Yuno is, basically, Yuno's the reason yanderes are so popular nowadays. She made them. She literally made them. She popularized them. This anime came out in, this anime came out in 2011. So, yeah, yanderes weren't, I don't think that's super popular back in 2011. Or, there was always yanderes existed, obviously, duh. But because of Yuno, they became more mainstream. I mean, when you look up Yandere, one of the pictures is probably just because she has like the iconic freaking. There's so many iconic freaking like pictures of from this show that I'm like, oh my god, it was from this. I didn't even know that was Right, like episode 1 ends with like one of the most iconic ones. I'll flash it up on screen. But that's like one of the most iconic Yandere photos imaginable. That's the end of episode 1. There's way more like moments with in the show where I'm like, oh geez Louise. Because you go from for being like, oh my god, she's the typical Yandere, psycho, and you're kind of like, that's funny. And then immediately you're like, oh god damn, she's nuts. And that's the problem with Like sometimes you're kind of fine with right? You accept the Yandere nature and you're fine. And then she does something and you're like, geez Louise, this girl's bad shit insane. Surprisingly has a very deep backstory. When you like, she very easily could have just been prototype. Like, oh, Yuki was nice to her one day and then she broke, and that's it. But when you look at her backstory, it's like, god damn, she's got a really deep tragic backstory. Yeah, and there's a twist with during the show, which if you haven't seen, I dare not spoil. I knew the twist already going into this, right? I had known the twist forever. But knowing the twist actually, I think, made me more excited when something happened. I'm like, oh, that's because of the twist. And then it was revealed, yes, it was because of the twist. So it's like, oh, I get it. Yeah, that is she's the Yandere queen. I think she really is. So we have third, who is a serial killer who at the start of the show, his killings have kind of been going on, right? I'm not going to reveal, I think, people who... I'll reveal some of the diary holders, right? But I don't want to reveal all of them. He's not in the show much for third. I will tell you that. He's very much your setup, so you can finally kind of realize what this game is about and all that. And I won't reveal his identity, because his identity was actually pretty big. Like, oh, damn, that was the dude. Type of thing, right? And I should mention that everyone's diary kind of operates differently. So Yuki's is like the random diary where he kind of just... It just shows him like, events without any bias in it. And it's pretty much what he perceives, right? So if he thinks someone's dead, his diary will say so-and-so is laying on the ground dead. But then if they show up later and they're not dead, it's like, oh, well, why is, his diary was wrong. It's like, no, that's just what he thought. His diary is what he perceives, but it's written without any bias. Yuno's is the diary of future love, which is just a stalker diary, which just tells her what Yuki's doing. Which is awesome. I don't believe we ever really get to know what Third's diary... Oh no, here it is. Third's diary is the murder diary, which gives him details on who his next victims are and where and how he kills them. So, there we go. That is Third's diary. Then we have Fourth, which is, who I will reveal, is Keigo Kurisu, who is a police captain. He was chosen to be part of this game because a lot of the other diary users freaking crazy. And as we get on to the show, you kind of realize, oh my god, everyone who has a diary in this is freaking insane. He was chosen to kind of balance them out, right? Because they're like, let's get an actual good person in this game besides Yuki and I think Eighth. So his diary is the criminal investigation diary, which gives him details of crimes that will happen within the next 90 days. But it cannot predict the future if the investigation is done by someone who's not him. So pretty much it gives him the down low on cases he's working on, essentially. And he is like your first diary user who you're kind of like, oh, not all of them are bad type of deal, right? He is, again, a more complex character who at first you kind of get lulled into a false sense of security, like, oh, he's pretty nice. But then he always gives off the vibe that even though you're working with him, he's not exactly on your side all the time type of deal, right? Like he could, he could, betray you at a drop of a hat type of deal. But I liked Kurusu for the bit he was there, and his backstory with why he wants to become God. Because a lot of this is like, wait, why does this person want to become God? Kurusu's is, you understand it. So, I mean, at least I can understand why, right? Then we have Fifth. Oh my god. I dare not reveal who Fifth is, because that was such a shock. Seeing Fifth, and I'm like, what the hell? Fifth's diary is the Hypervision Diary, which is a coloring book that gives a small summary of the activities that he may perform today. However, his diary only shows 3 entries for the day during morning, noon, and night. Right? Because I said what his diary is, you could probably tell who Fifth is. I dare not say. Fifth is goddamn crazy. Wow. Holy crap. So, yeah, Fifth was fun. Fifth was a fun episode, or like, was it? Was he 1 or 2 episodes? Fifth. He was there for a bit. That's how this show kind of operates sometimes. It's just like, oh, it's now Yuki and Yuno versus diary user number whatever for like 3 episodes type of deal, which is fun. That's fine. It gives you time to, deal and get into debt with these characters and all that type of stuff. So I'm fine with that. But yeah, I dare not reveal who Fifth is. I dare not reveal who Fifth is. Sixth. Oh boy, yeah. Sixth was oof. Oh yeah, that was I think 6 is the first one where you're kind of like, oh, all these diary users have had a bad life. And yeah, she went through the ringer. Her diary was the Clairvoyance Diary, which allows her to read with what her followers see. She is the leader of the Omagata cult and is the group's priestess. Yeah, her backstory was very, very like, oh damn. Yeah, we're going like dark for the show, right? I don't know. Should I reveal the backstory for her? I don't know if I should. When you watch it though, you'll be like, oh, I feel bad for you. But then she does, bad things as well. So you're like, yeah, I mean, I understand why you lost your goddamn mind. So, there's that. Then we have Seventh. Seventh is an interesting one. Seventh is a very interesting one. So, Seventh. Oh, man. Should I reveal Seventh? No. I don't know if I should reveal Seventh, because Seventh was another really cool reveal. Yeah, I'm not going to reveal Seventh. So I can't talk about the diary either. But Seventh was a cool one. Seventh does a lot for Yuki and Yuno's relationship. I will say that. And we get to the storyline about Yuki's parents as well. Seventh is very much involved in that. So there's that. And when you get the backstory of Seventh, you're like, aw, I kind of want you to win. Then we have Eighth. My god, Eighth was like... Okay, Eighth's diary is the blog diary, which is just a server that can be accessed by people they allow in, giving each person their own apprentice diary that can predict the future in their own various ways. Eighth had no interest in the diary game, as the only thing that they cared about was looking after orphans. So yeah, Eighth runs an orphanage. I gotta say, man, Eighth should have goddamn won. Seriously, Eighth did nothing wrong. Eighth was just minding her business. I gotta say, just minding the business. Didn't want to have problems. Nothing. For some reason, Eighth is like very weirdly shaped. She's got like a big head and like she's almost like a large chibi. Almost, and she stands really weird. Always her hands are always like extended. I don't know why they did that, but like Eighth was the only one I was like, I don't want you to die, because all Eighth's doing is just trying to protect orphans, dude, and just running the orphanage. Had no interest in winning the game, and was only competing in the game because her orphans were like, no, do it, we'll help you. Yeah, and even when Eighth like bites the bullet, I'm like, she's the only one I wanted to win or live. right? Like, ah, god damn it. Then we have ninth. Oh my god, ninth. So ninth. Hold on, baby. Ninth, who is Minane Uru. Oh my god, she's my wife. I think is what I'm gonna say. She is my wife. So Minane, she was. Her parents died in the Middle East, and that's where she stayed for a bit because she's a little girl, didn't know what to do, so she had to scavenge for food and all that type of stuff. She blamed God for her death, and then she became an assassin, a terrorist, pretty much. She became an atheist terrorist because again she felt that God was the reason her parents died, and she is the first diary user post when the game fully begins that Yuki and Yuno interact with. And from the get-go, I'm like, oh my god, I'm in love. Oh my god, I'm in love. She's fantastic. When we get into her more as a character, like what her parents died, and then the relationship she has with Nishijima, a police officer, it's awesome. I loved Minane so much. Like, I was fully content when there's, I think, an entire episode which is just Minane, and I was completely content with it. Like, I was completely fine with it, dude. Like, seriously, she is such a good character. I love her. This is not a spoiler because you see her in all the material. She loses an eye, and she doesn't let that stop her. Let me tell you that much. She don't let that stop her. She's again one where she's kind of a friend to Yuki and his pals, but she does, it's very much like, yeah, she could betray you at any moment too, though. Is Minane. I love Minane so much. Like, the basic thing I need to tell you about the show is when the show's over, get yourself a girlfriend who loves you like right? And Minane is my wife. I will fight Nishijima for her. I don't care. And her diary, her diary is the escape diary. That is her diary. The escape diary, which charts out the best course of actions for her to escape whenever she finds herself in a dangerous situation. So yeah. That is ninth. She's beautiful. She's beautiful. Then we have 10th. 10th was freaking weird, but 10th was instrumental in introducing new characters. So yeah, 10th's whole thing is he just likes dogs. He just likes dogs. So much so that he neglected his family. Like, I think there was a scene where he's cooking up a nice 5-star meal, and he just gives it to the dogs, and he just eats cup ramen. So it's like, it's weirdo. Okay. His diary is the breeder's diary. That sounds wrong. Which allows him to control his dogs to attack his enemies using his cell phone by voice command. Yep. So yeah, that's him. That's him. Then we have John Box, I guess. He's one of the guys who got a name change in Japan. In the Japanese version, he's John Bacchus, but then in the English dub, they called him Bulks. So weird. He's 11th, and he is the last one they introduce. In the order, he's the last one they introduce. Again, I do not tell you who he is, right? I told you his name, but I don't tell you who he is. What his diary does, because his diary's crazy. Yeah. But he is the last big hurdle that they kind of go through when it comes to the diary users of the show type of deal. And then we have 12th, the final user. 12th was my boy. I loved this dude. 12th's whole thing was he was a vigilante who acted like a freaking sentai. This dude was awesome. 12th is blind, so His diary, he has to listen through like an MP3 player. That's freaking amazing. His diary is called the Justice Diary, which has the ability to tell him what evil deeds will happen in the future. His diary can also hypnotize people. So we see an example of that when he faces Yuki and Yuno and all that. 12 was awesome, dude. I loved him so much. He was the dude. His freaking little dance and all his costume and shit. This guy was awesome. He's not in the show long. I wish he was, dude. I loved him. I loved him. I really did. And then some people who weren't part of the death game who are important characters, because we do get some important characters who aren't, future diary users. One of them is, of course, Aru. Aru he's like a detective, right? That's like what he is. He's like, he calls himself a detective, and so that's what he is. And he gets involved with the future diary game. He is Yuno's ire, because Aru has feelings for Yuki, and Yuno, being a Yandere, will not let this stand. So yeah, there you go. Aru is he's a pretty good character, especially like the more he's the way we, the audience, start to find out what's going on with the game, because as he he delves deeper and deeper and he gets more and more into what's going on, right? He's the reason we find out the stuff about Yuno that we do, right? When revelations about Yuno come out, it's because of Aru, because he goes digging into it. He's also got a very crazy twist about Aru, by the way, because during the show you're like, how does a regular person do this? It's like, well, he's not regular. I won't tell you any more than that. Just be on the lookout for Aru. There's a couple other characters, of course. Of course, there's Deus, the god, who he makes appearances every now and then. There's, of course, Miss Murmur, who is Deus's servant. She's got a chibi little body type of dealio. At the end of every episode, she has a little. It's usually a comedic little tiny short, which is done as usually exposition or just to have fun. A lot of times it will show you how she gave one of the other users their diary, but it's almost always done comedically. So yeah, but Murmur gets more, that's pretty much what she's relegated to for most of the show. Then at the very end, Murmur finally comes in as a true character. So there we go. And that's where I'm going to end Future Diary here, talking about it. Overall, dude, okay, what do I think about the show? What do I think about Future Diary? I really liked it. I really liked Future Diary. I liked it. I liked it. You see so many of these anime tubers talk about how, oh my god, it's a horrible show. No, I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I like Future Diary. It's got very dark moments in it that I was very surprised at. It can be comedic at times. I like the idea of this, right? Like a death game with people who can tell the future. I like yanderes. Okay, so Yuno was working for me here. Okay, I loved the funny moments that they were doing with Yuno, where she's making Yuki very uncomfortable. There's a moment where she breaks into his house and he's like, what the freak are you doing here in my house? Right? Her craziness too is fun, right? It gets fun. And then they do the flip the dime where she starts attacking people for him, right? It's all for Yuki, dude. I like the show, and of course Minane, that's my wife, so there we go. I really liked Future Diary. I really did. I tried not to be super spoilery during this, but some of them I had to. But yeah, Future Diary, I really enjoyed it, man. I really liked this show. I'm so glad I sat down and watched it. It was 26 episodes plus an OVA. So if you're going to watch this show and you haven't before, you have to watch the OVA. Because for some stupid reason, the OVA is the actual finale. I kid you not. The OVAs is the finale. I don't know why they didn't just do 27 episodes and then the OVA. The OVA came out a year later. So the show ended in April 2012. And then the OVA came out in June 2013. Which sucks because the OVA is legitimately the end of the show. Like, the way the TV show ends is kind of like... like, okay, I guess that's an end. It's kind of a crappy end, but it's an end. And then the OVA comes out, the OVA makes it all better. So it's like, why was this not the actual final episode? Why did I have to wait like a year if in real time to watch it? I did, obviously, of course, after the episode ended, I just want to watch the OVA right away. But yeah, no, like watching, and I think that made it even worse because watching the OVA right away after the final episode, I'm like, yeah, no, this is the true final episode. This wraps everything up. So why was this the OVA? It was a weird decision. I'm glad though that I got to watch it just immediately after. I didn't have to wait a year, like people who watch this in real time. But yeah, that is Future Diary. I liked it. I really like the show. I did. This will be a rewatch for me. This will be on my rewatch whenever I want to watch it because I like it. I do like it. I like a lot of the twists and turns. I liked getting to know a lot of the diary users. Of course, some are more delved into more than others. I liked it. And then the twist that's there about the show is it's a pretty good twist. Yeah, and then when you see some of these diary users, you're like, oh my god, you're psychotic. But yeah, Future Diary, out of 10, considering how much I enjoyed myself. And I gotta tell you, I enjoyed myself. I can tell you I enjoyed myself when I started binge watching like 7 episodes a day. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked Future Diary. I understand that there's some trashy moments in this, okay? I understand that. I don't care. I really like the show. God damn it. And honestly, seeing like all those thumbnails of videos go like, Future Diary is a bad anime. I'm like, you make me want to like the show even more because I know it's from some pretentious freaking guy who thinks that anime's the highest form of art and, watches it with, some wine, crackers, and cheese with violin music playing, going, yes, sophistication. Shut up. The hell. Yeah, that's Future Diary for me, though. So if you've seen Future Diary, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't, I recommend it. Why not? Give it a shot, at least. So yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for listening. See you all next time.